Hello, welcome to the start of your economic week by looking ahead with Dukascopy TV. To discuss the Eurozone, positive forecasts for the dollar and more big market movers, I am joined by Ranko Berich of Monex Europe. Ranko, what is your outlook for the Eurozone over the coming week?
Well, I think for the front end of this week, there's potentially a bit of relief on the horizon for the euro. The stress tests from the ECB were actually not that bad. I mean, yeah, there were some banks that were found to be wanting, I suppose, and they will need to raise capital, but actually, the stress tests were fine. So I think the biggest event on the front end of this week is the Eurozone money supply. So essentially what markets will be looking for is signs that banks are lending to each other in the Eurozone, which is something that the economy there desperately needs, so businesses can invest and the economy can expand. So that's out at 10 this morning. But then later in the week, I think potentially the party could come to an end for the euro because we do have German CPI on Thursday and we've also got Eurozone CPI on Friday.
What are the big market movers for next week?
Next week is going to be reasonably straightforward. I mean, it's a classic 1-2. We've got the European Central Bank press conference on Thursday. That is important because, anyone trading the euro, anyone trading sovereign debt in the Eurozone is just desperate for any sort of hint whatsoever that the ECB is going to consider purchasing sovereign assets. So, even the slightest hint that the ECB is considering that will have an immediate effect on the euro and on capital markets. And then the other event next week is, of course, US non-farm payrolls. I think dollar strength is sort of the big looming possibility that's sitting over FX markets in general. And probably the biggest fundamental argument for dollar strength is just how strongly their labour market is performing at the moment. So last week, for example, we saw an extraordinarily good figure from weekly jobless claims. And so potentially non-farm payrolls is going to be very strong next week, and that's always a big driver for the dollar.
Are there any currency pairs our viewers should look out for?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, as I said, dollar strength is a major possibility at the moment. And I think in particular there's three currency crosses that has the potential to play out for in a very major way because of developments in the currencies other than the dollar. So the first of those is euro dollar because of the multiple events coming up for the euro. The second is, I would say, probably the Japanese yen. So we've got Bank of Japan press conference coming out on Friday with Japanese inflation. So again, it's a similar situation to the ECB where people are expecting a lot of easing action from the Bank of Japan. So yeah, dollar Japan and then finally dollar CAD. And probably I'd pick Wednesday as the day to watch for dollar CAD, which is when the Bank of Canada's Governor Pollers will be testifying to Canadian Parliament.
Thank you for joining us, Ranko. That wraps up today's week ahead. Keep with Dukascopy to see how these figures play out. Goodbye.